Here is Kevin alongside Nashima.
Hey guys, morning, afternoon, wherever you are, good day. Hope you're having a blessed and wonderful day. I know it's been a while, but here we are back with another episode of Building Your Dream Home. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to be talking about the prices of labor. Because, as we know, for some weird reason, when the price of material goes up, it tends to have an effect on the price of labor. So we're going to be breaking down a few of the prices. We're going to be starting with foundation prices, what it is to get it out of the ground. Okay, so for those who haven't started yet, it's not too late. Because the prices are going up, yes, guys, because a lot of people are moving back home and a lot of people are invested in Jamaica. Jamaica is beautiful. It's our little paradise. Okay, so we're going to start with like the cost to line out, the cost to dig, what can affect the price, and the cost to pour your foundation. So we're going to start with lining out. Okay, so I'm here with Kevin. So for the lining out of the building, there's a few questions that people ask. One of the questions that they ask is what, Kevin?
What's the purpose of lining out?
Okay, so for the lining out is first, when you're dealing with the foundation, you're basically supposed to know the size of the house in which you're building. So the foundation, it takes into consideration the size of the blocks and everything, like the width and length of the house, or if you're doing it room by room or section by section, you have to know that. So the purpose of the lining out is to catch the right size for the room in which you're dealing with, and that take into consideration the partitions of each room. And the reason for that being is if you have a bathroom, a closet, and you didn't take into consideration the partition, it's going to take away from the size of the room and the space. That's why some people might wonder how come the room is smaller, or the closet's smaller, or the bathroom is smaller. Because when you were lining out, you were not taking into consideration the spacing for the block work that's going to be needed. So therefore, remember, when you're doing your drawing, if it's done right, guys, first of all, it should have been done right from the drawing. But I realize a lot of people do not know how to read these drawings, and they're going in there and they're not telling the homeowners that they can't read the drawings and they can't do this and they can't do that. So therefore, the lining out is to make sure you have the right size of each room, including the partition. And that's when they put the nails on the lumber, which you guys call loft, and they should put in for the block size in the partitions. You might see 2 nails, 3 nails, 4 nails, depending. So again, that's the purpose of it, and that's what you're paying for. Anything, Kevin?
Well, for instance, I've gone to one client house where they have the drawing was done by architect, and then when they're ready to put the building on the land, it was much too big for the space that the architect already provided. So it was a big mistake when it come on to the garage at the house, where it sits right inside of the was facing the road, where it was there, you couldn't even park a car on it. So that was a good purpose of make sure that whatever you're designing, it can fit on the land.
Yeah, so before you even line out, your architect should be doing a survey on your land to make sure before he start drawing and before you guys start creating that the land space is there to build a house that you want, and having the proper spacing around your home. Okay, so with the lining out of the way, the next step is to dig the foundation. To dig the foundation, there's many factors, such as the surface, the type of soil. So the cost to dig a foundation, if it's an all dirt foundation, it might cost you roughly about $500 a foot. That's the average price we got around from parishes to parishes. Some people charge $400, $550, some charge $600. It varies. Then you'll have the rock and maul. You might want to call in a compressor for that. Some people charge $5,000 an hour, some charge $6,000 an hour, but the majority of it was $5,000 an hour, so we stick with the $5,000 an hour. When it comes to maul and dirt, most of the time they say it's the same price as the all dirt, so it all depends who is doing your digging, where you're located, stuff like that. So there you go. Those are the stuff to line out and to dig your foundation. And the next price that we have to worry about is the price to cast the foundation. And the casting of the foundation, before you cast, guys, depending on your structure of your building, some masons want to put in the column footing. With a column footing, you have to dig a little wider and a little deeper. So you might have to pick up some extra expenses for your column footing. So take into consideration that. Talk to your mason, talk to the diggers. So here you go. This is one of the column footing that was dug for this particular property. So the column footing is deeper than the actual foundation, and it's wider to get the column matting in to make it a stronger building, especially if you're going higher. Okay, so now that it was lined out, it was dug, now you have to deal with the steelwork that need to be put in before you can cast the foundation. And the steelwork right now, the average cost for steelwork is about $80,000 per ton. I think I said that right. $80,000 per ton. So you have some people who are charging $100,000 per ton. You have some people who are still charging $60,000 per ton. You have some who are still doing it for $5,000 a ton. So again, it just depends, honestly speaking, where you're from, the relationship you have with your mason. But the average price right now is basically $80,000 to $100,000 a ton. Okay, and after that is said and done, then comes the pouring of the foundation. So to cast the foundation, so you have to pay again. So here we go. How much does it cost to manually cast the foundation? Okay, so to manually pour the foundation, it's gonna run you roughly $400 to $500 per running foot. Again, that's $400 to $500 per running foot. What we mean by running foot, if you have a 30 by 30 space that you're working with, it's 30 on the width, 30 on the length. So there's 4 sides to your house, so roughly that's 120. Don't forget your partition. So let's, for example, I'm just putting in a bathroom and a closet, and I divide that space. The width of that space is 10. So now you have to add another 30 for the width, and then the 10 feet for the division for that. So therefore you're now down to 120 plus 30, that's 150, plus the 10, that's 160. And again, you might have you're going to have divisions for your kitchen, for your living, dining. It's going to add up. So you just have to add up all those running feet, and you'll know how much running feet total you'll be working with. And then you have to factor in all those prices that we just spoke about, and you'll get a rough idea of how much the labor cost is to get your foundation out of the ground. Yep, I hope that gives you some rough ideas and that you can get a better price range to know how much it is you will need to get that dream home out of the ground. If you need a more in-depth, guys, you guys are gonna have to sit down with a quantitative surveyor person who can give you a more precise answer. You can sit down with your mason and they can break it down to you more so that you get a more accurate figure. These are just some of the prices that you need to take into consideration, because a lot of people don't realize those are some of the prices that they need to take into consideration. And that's why we're making these videos, so you'll have an idea of what some of those costs that you will incur when trying to build your dream home. So this is just roughly what they are. For anyone who would like to participate in this, feel free to drop down the prices that you pay in your parish for these items that we just cover, such as the lining out, the digging of the foundation, the steel work, and the manual labor. And if you do have some pre-mixed prices, you can include that in there for them. This is just to help people to get to see the rough idea of prices that are going on, so that they get a clearer picture based on where they're located or where they're going to where they will be planning to build their dream home. So until next time, guys, stay safe and have a blessed one.